The San Antonio Spurs now on the verge of elimination in the NBA Finals after fighting their way back into this series with that Game 3 win in New York City. The Knicks answered back and fought back tonight, moving one step closer to their first NBA title in more than 5 decades.
Well, now the Spurs return home facing a must-win situation to keep their season alive. Tonight, we are live in New York City and in San Antonio with reaction from the podium, analysis of what went wrong, and look ahead to a do-or-die Game 5 in San Antonio. The night beat starts right now.
Good evening and welcome here live. Moments just after this game ended here in New York City. Another heartbreaker for our San Antonio Spurs, a nearly 30-point lead, and they fall by 1 tonight.
We're going to go straight to Larry Ramirez inside Madison Square Garden. And whatever happens in this series, Larry, I think we'll look back on a lot of missed opportunities and what might have been.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. The Knicks just pulled off the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. They trailed the Spurs by 29 points in the first half. The Spurs led by 27 points at halftime, and frankly, it looked like that they were going to pull this game off and tie the series. Now, we always hear that basketball is about a game of runs, but a lot of Spurs fans did not think the Knicks would have this kind of run in them in the second half to just come back and absolutely stun the Spurs in the second half. Let's go ahead and take that video of some of those Knicks baskets in the second half. So the Spurs led by 29 in the first half and by 27 at halftime. Then in the third quarter, it's just kind of like they forgot how to play basketball. The Knicks outscored them 26-14 in the third quarter, just slowly chipping away at that lead. Finally, with 1:22 left in the fourth quarter, the Knicks took their first lead of the game, 105-104. Think about that. 1:22 left in the game, and the Knicks took their first lead thanks to Jalen Brunson. And then the game winner from the Knicks came with 1.2 seconds left when OG Anunoby tipped in a missed three-pointer to make it 107-106 Knicks. The Spurs got one more look at the other end, but did not get off a shot. And that is all she wrote. The Knicks take it 107-106, and they now lead the San Antonio Spurs 3-1 in the NBA Finals. Mitch Johnson is at the podium. Let's take a listen to him live right now.
Obviously a few things. To score 30 points in a half. We got away from what got us the 76 points in the first half, just in terms of putting pressure on the rim, rolling after screens, running, continuing to find the paint, whether it's for ourselves or for a teammate. We got on our heels and, miss some shots, and then, you don't get as many free throws and high percentage looks when you play on your heels like that.
Second row on the right, Mike.
Coach Michael Wright, ESPN. This has been a season, like the regular season and the playoffs, has been just full of a lot of lessons for you guys. Where does this one fall?
Yeah, at the top of the list, just in terms of obviously the circumstances and the stakes of what we're playing for, and to put as much good work into that first half as we did and get the lead that we had and not finish the job is
fourth row
disappointing,
second,
to say the least.
Fourth row second seat.
Mitch, Nate Ryan, CBS San Antonio. At what point tonight did you feel like the momentum started to become a little too much to overcome?
Honestly, it's tough. You felt the momentum too much to overcome. I didn't feel that until the clock hit zeros. There was times where, again, I felt part of that third quarter, and then some part probably early, mid in the fourth quarter again, where we got away from playing the brand of basketball that got us the lead, and then you saw the, at times, aggressiveness and the just conviction that we played with early on dissipate a little bit, and they made some shots, and that's where you felt the momentum a little bit. We just needed a few more tough-minded plays to finish the job.
Second row on the right, Mike.
Mitch, Mike Finger, San Antonio Express News. The two quick trips to the bench that Victor had in the first half with you guys with a big lead. Did you feel like, I guess what was the thought process behind that? Do you feel like there wasn't a chance to get him more of a break early on?
Yeah, no, we he just kind of played his normal stint. I mean, he had a few more minutes tonight because we were trying to put the game away. But, yeah, with 2 days after this and what was at stake, we wanted to win the game and try to put it away.
Last row, Mark.
Coach, anyway, just...
Mitch Johnson there at the podium, as we in the background here in New York City can hear the screaming and the cheering and the honking, the celebratory happening here not too far from where we are, and I can only imagine what must be happening in San Antonio right now.
Yeah, we want to go there live now to our Zaria Oates, who is at the Frost Bank Center tonight. Zaria, it was a packed house for this Game 4. We know fans are leaving there so disappointed with what they saw tonight.
Yeah, completely packed house here at the Frost Bank Center. Nearly 10,000 people in attendance, to the point where they weren't letting anyone save seats. And as people are leaving tonight, I mean, everyone is crying. People are sad. Some people are still cheering the Spurs on, a "Go Spurs, Go" chant here and there. But I mean, if you can see behind me, and if you were here with us on Monday watching, this is a completely different atmosphere. It's completely empty. Yeah, people are coming and going, screaming and cheering still. But I mean, it's night and day from what we saw on Monday versus what we're seeing right now. This is a really sad time for a lot of these Spurs fans. Of course, these tickets were free to be able to watch the game here at the Frost Bank Center on the Jumbotron, since it's an away game. But a lot of people were expecting the Spurs to win, especially when they had such a large lead for so long in this game. Another game just kind of blowing it in the fourth quarter. We've had a few people come out saying that they want some people to be traded. I think a lot of people speaking out of anger tonight. Maybe they'll sleep on it, wake up excited for the Spurs to return to San Antonio. I know we're excited for them to come back, and the fans who still have faith in them winning this championship are very excited for them to come back. Of course, we'll continue to follow this series here at home, and hopefully if we make it back to New York, we'll continue to follow it there. Live at the Frost Bank Center, I'm Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Zaria, thank you. Yeah, you're not hearing a word from the crowd there behind her as they leave the Frost Bank Center tonight.
Okay, we're standing by for Victor Wembanyama at the podium, and in the meantime, let's go to Adam Caskey at another location that must feel pretty deflated right now at the Rock. Adam.
Oh, I mean, the energy, of course, the energy at the Rock was unbelievably electric the entire time until it started to slip. Now, people were still loud and on their feet, and I've got Joe here with me. Joe, you've been here for how many of these watch parties now?
Every other one. I mean, everyone, actually.
Yeah.
Every watch
and
party.
You're coming back on Saturday, but
Yes.
Tell me, the fourth quarter and as it wore on, what were you thinking?
Well, actually, I started to worry after we came back from halftime. Right, we didn't do too well in the third quarter. And fourth quarter, I felt like, okay, we need to find our game again because we lost momentum after the first half. But I think you can feel, the pulse in this place, and everybody started to get worried, and so was I. So I think everybody was worried that we might lose this game and might give this game away to the Knicks.
Yeah, you just saw that, people like pulling their hair,
Yes.
just everybody got to their feet. Nobody was sitting anymore thinking, oh, so we're good. We still got this. All right, well, what are your predictions for Saturday?
Well, we have to win. And my prediction is we will win back home. And then hopefully that gives us momentum, and hopefully we can make a statement win coming back home. So, and then we carry that into Game 6. And then Game 7 is up in the air, right? So, but we got to roll and we got to win and treat each game as a Game 7.
Let's do it. Go Spurs,
Let's do
go,
it.
man.
Go Spurs, go.
I'll see you Saturday,
Yes,
okay?
sir.
We got this. It's not over. It's not over, baby. It's not over. See, there's still some positivity. Let's chat a little bit about weather, first of all. We actually made it up to 94 at the airport today. Low to mid-90s for most of us across the board. And tomorrow's going to be very similar, I think, temperature-wise. 77 at sunrise, 88 at noon, 92 the high temperature. And we're going to feel the humidity, of course. Low gray overcast to start the day. Could drop a little sprinkle or brief light shower at any point throughout the day tomorrow. It's a 10% chance all day, kind of like what we had. But rain chances really get boosted as we get into the early part of next week. We'll talk about that and the very saturated air from the tropics that we're watching and monitoring as it heads our way. Full live team coverage from New York to San Antonio, returning in just a few.
Welcome back here live to New York City, where it is a celebration tonight for Knicks fans, but serious disappointment back home in San Antonio after our Spurs blew that tremendous and historic lead in the first half of Game 4 of the NBA Finals.
29-point lead for the Spurs at one point. It is now the largest comeback in the history of the NBA Finals on the part of the New York Knicks, who are now one win away from their first title in 50-plus years. We are standing by for Victor Wembanyama at the podium there. And I think we just watched this obviously in real time. I think we're still coming to terms with what happened. But obviously, Game 5, Saturday at the Frostbank Center. So both teams will head back to Texas, as will we tomorrow. And we'll be ready for that to see if the Spurs can, in fact, extend the series. Game 6 would be back here in New York if we get that far.
And as we were watching this, it seemed like the mood really changed for the Spurs after Wemby got that flagrant foul.
Right.
It's sort of like the momentum shifted and everything kind of went downhill from there. We were nervous about a 15-point lead at that point.
And Mitch Johnson a moment ago just kind of alluded to the fact that the Spurs just got away from what helped them build that 29-point lead, and then the proverbial wheels started to fall off, shots weren't falling, and the rest is history here. So we're standing by. We're told that Victor Wembanyama is making his way to the media room. It's a short distance from the locker room right now, so he should be getting to the microphone at any moment. It'll be very interesting to see what he has to say, given just that all 4 games have come down to just a couple of points, a couple of possessions here and there in the final seconds of the game.
Yeah, the second game in this series in which the Spurs have fallen by 1 point, and it really, to your point, Ernie, has all rested on these last couple of minutes. Okay, we see Wemby stepping up to the podium there, so let's take a listen to what he has to say.
Victor, this is Carolina Teague with the Las Vegas Sports Network and Spurfect. In the final moments of the game, De'Aaron goes for the layup against OG instead of dribbling the clock out. I wanted to get your thoughts on that particular possession.
I fell on the floor. I couldn't really see. I don't know. I just saw the block.
First row on the right, Tom.
On OG's tip-in, Victor, was there a breakdown as far as blocking out, or was it just simply a great play by him?
I don't know. I didn't see it again. I was contesting the first shot, turned around and saw him up there. So that's all I can tell you.
Fourth row on the right, Jared.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. Can you just explain how that thing fell apart in the fourth quarter?
I think it began before that.
Third row on the left.
Can't really explain it right now. I don't know. I think it's just, execution, greediness, some sort. We clearly weren't the most hungry in the second half.
Victor, obviously this is very painful. What's going through your mind right now?
What's going through my mind right now, I think it's going to go one of two ways. One of two ways. And a bad one and a good one. And I know the bad one would be giving up. The good one would be getting stronger through this, getting more together, and I know this is what we're going to do.
Last row, Mark.
Victor, Mark Spears, ESPN's Landscape. Can you just talk about the emotions in the locker room afterwards and just what was going through your mind as you walked off the floor?
I don't know about the emotions, but it was painful, of course. It feels like we work too hard and give up our leads, just as simple as that. It just hurts.
Second row, Mike.
Victor, you had 2 really quick trips to the bench in the first half, and it looked like you weren't as strong at the end of the game as you were at the beginning. Did you wear down a little bit? What did you think of the substitution patterns as well?
Substitution patterns, I don't know. It's not really my expertise, but yeah, I guess I did.
Second row in the middle.
Samy Sadiq pour l'équipe. Vous aviez réussi à vous relever de la fin de match Q1 et match 2. Comment?
All right, Victor Wembanyama there taking a question from French media. Not a whole lot of words here from the Spurs star. Obviously disappointed, talking about how the Spurs were not the hungriest team on the court tonight. And Wembanyama believes they got a little greedy at some point, and ultimately that led to their unraveling.
I think his body language is kind of telling there, just compared to what we've seen in the previous 3 games. And now the Spurs have had double-digit leads in each of the first 4 games of the NBA Finals. They have given up those leads, and obviously this is probably the most egregious of them all. Again, the Knicks having now pulled off the greatest comeback in the history of the NBA Finals. We'll continue to monitor Victor and, of course, have more coverage here as we continue on from New York.
All right, for now we want to take a look outside with live cam back home in San Antonio. Look at the Alamo Dome there. We're going to send things out to Adam Caskey, who is on the other side of the city, out at the Rocket La Cantera. Adam, we know you had some disappointed fans out there, but as you were telling us early, this isn't over yet.
You know, I had a bunch of people just, run up, thinking we were live, just saying, "We're going 7! We're going 7!" I mean, the amount of positivity was actually astounding. The amount of subtle profanities was kind of astounding too, when the final buzzer rang out. There was obviously some disappointment, depression. People are coping with it, but still a lot of positivity out there. And it just means every game is game 7 for us from here on out. We just got to win. It's not over yet. They don't have that trophy in their hand. Let's get to weather. Looking at those rain chances, they peak Monday night and into Tuesday morning. Yes, we will have some random pop-up downpours Friday afternoon, Saturday and Sunday as well, but we're really watching the very saturated air with what's now Tropical Depression Christina over Central America. More than anything, there's just a lot of mugginess up throughout the atmosphere, thousands of feet above us. That's going to combine with some energy and, of course, a cool front moving in to help squeeze that saturated air and get some rain out of it. As that cool front moves in at some point Monday into early Tuesday, that really boosts our rain chances. High temps tomorrow, well, we're going to be in the low to mid 90s again, 93 here in town. But of course, when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like it's closer to 100 to 101, at least for a few hours in the afternoon. Looking ahead, I do want to point out that 10% chance tomorrow, a few streamer showers. Friday afternoon, a couple of downpours popping up, kind of like what we've been used to as of late. Saturday and Sunday, just 30% chance. Some of those non-severe afternoon downpours splash and dash. It's Monday night into Tuesday morning. That's when heavy rain is possible and likely to be more widespread, and we'll be on the lookout for the chance of street flooding Monday night into Tuesday morning. Some neighborhoods could pick up several inches of rain at that point. That's the latest from The Rock. I'll be back here on Saturday. Hey, the vibe is always good here. It'll be fun again. Let's just go to 7. We'll see you back here in a couple minutes.
Back in the NBA Finals like we've never seen before. The Knicks stunned the Spurs to come back from a 29-point deficit and win Game 4 by a point. Let's take a look back at how this game happened. First quarter, Spurs get off to another hot start in this series, and an early challenge by Mitch Johnson pays off. A foul on Victor Wembanyama is overturned to a Karl Anthony Towns hook, and Cat took a seat with 2 early fouls. Everything falling for San Antonio in the first. And the Spurs would eventually take the largest lead of the series. Now, things only grew more physical from here. Wemby jaws at Mitchell Robinson, and after that bucket, Robinson's retaliation is a flagrant one. The Spurs led Game 4 by 19 points after 1. Jalen Brunson's first field goal of the game didn't come until the second quarter. That's because the Spurs defense was suffocating the Knicks. Meanwhile, Spurs rookie Dylan Harper goes right at his former teammate Jeremy Sohan for 2. Later, the rookie Harper drills a 3-pointer. Harper is cooking. Later, loose ball, Harper 360, kiss off the glass. Mesmerizing performance by the rookie. Dylan's dad, Ron Harper, one of the few smiling at this point in MSG after the Spurs set all kinds of NBA Finals records en route to a 76-49 lead at halftime. And this is where things took a turn. Third quarter, Wembanyama playing dominant in Game 4. However, Wembanyama's elbow to Cat ruled a flagrant 1, And this could come back to bite the Spurs in this series because now Wembanyama can't afford any more flagrant fouls or else he'll be suspended 1 game. And the Spurs came back down to earth in the third quarter. The Knicks put together a 13-0 run while the Spurs couldn't buy a bucket. But San Antonio still up 90-75 through 3 frames. Final frame. This is where the Knicks went unconscious from long range to battle back from what was a 29-point deficit at one point for New York. A big shot there from OG Anunoby. The Spurs are battling, though, up 7 after a Fox triple. But New York became inevitable. Brunson makes it a 1-point game after that deep shot right there. Madison Square Garden rocking. Then under 2 to play, Brunson drives to the basket and scores to give New York its first lead of the game with under 2 to play. Castle will give the Spurs back the lead with a pair of free throws, but the Spurs struggled to slow things down. 5 seconds left to play. Brunson there's shot was off the mark, but Anunoby flew in for the go-ahead score. Spurs wouldn't have an answer, and that's how Game 4 would end. San Antonio falls 107-106. Anunoby and Brunson combined for 69 points. The Spurs had 5 players in double figures scoring, led by Wembanyama, who registered 24 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Let's hear more from the Spurs after this one.
One of 2 ways, and a bad one and a good one, and I know the bad one would be giving up. The good one would be getting stronger through this, getting more together. And I know this is what we're going to do.
Last row, Mark.
Victor, Mark Spears, ESPN's Landscape. Can you just talk about the emotions in the locker room afterwards and just what was going through your mind as you walked off the floor?
I don't know about the emotions, but it was painful, of course. It feels like we work too hard and give up our leads, just as simple as that. It just hurts.
This one will hurt for a while. All right, we'll be right back after the break.
We'll wrap up our coverage live from New York City right after this break.
Game 5 Saturday night in San Antonio. That wraps up our